Hello everyone. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the structure of corallite and the types of coral reefs. The learning objective of the class is to study the structure of corallite and types of coral reefs. Session outcome is being familiarized with the structure of corallite. So, what are the different parts of corallite and how corallite formation takes place, as well as we'll also see, or you will be familiarized with the types of coral reefs that are present in the world. So, let's start with the topic. First, let's see what are corals. Now, we are talking about Coelenterata, the cnidarians. Okay, so among these coelenterate, there are some special coelentrates which secrete the exoskeleton. Okay, so these are generally marine ones, and they are special because they secrete that exoskeleton. These are generally called as coral animals. Okay, they are animals actually, and these are generally marine and mostly colonial, but there are few individual corals too. Most of them are individually, if you are talking about, they are like a small sea anemone. Okay, and since they secrete the calcareous skeleton, they are called as corals. Okay, see, coral is used in two ways. One, animal. Okay, coral animal, that is a type of coelenterate. Now, when the animal dies, the left skeleton is also called as coral. Coral animal is the animal which secretes the exoskeleton. The left out exoskeleton is called as coral. Be familiarized with it. So, what you are seeing in the pictures there, it's very beautiful corals, and all of them are corals actually. Some of them are green, some are red, some are yellow, some blue, purple. All beautiful exoskeleton which are actually calcareous in nature. So, when I am saying calcareous, you should know the chalk piece what is used in the classroom is a calcium carbonate. In olden days, at least few years back, they used to use this limestone for whitewash and all, like painting the walls. That is also calcium carbonate. Okay, the shells, the molluscan shells, again they are formed of calcium carbonate. So this coral, the skeleton, it is also formed of calcium carbonate, but still it is a beautiful color because they are impregnated, or they contain different salts, and depending upon the type of salt that is present, they'll have different colors. You know, in chemistry you study about different salts and their hydrated conditions. For example, copper, anhydrous copper will be white in color, hydrated one will be blue in color, and in different oxidation states iron appears green, red, isn't it? So different colors of these corals are because of different types of salts that are present, and that's why, as you can see on the screen there, all beautiful different shades and different colors of corals are present. Okay, now let's see exactly what and how these corals are formed. Now, when I say coral, I'm repeating again, it is a exoskeleton, okay, around an animal's body. Most of these corals, they are secreted by one particular class of coelenterata, that is Anthozoa. Okay, Anthozoa. Recall the classification of coelenterata: Hydrozoa, Scyphozoa and Anthozoa. So most of the corals are secreted by the members of Anthozoa, but a few of them are also secreted by Hydrozoa members, not by the Scyphozoans. So usually coral is secreted by polyp members, members which show polypoid stages. Polyp means the sessile forms which are found attached, okay, usually having a cylindrical body, that is a polyp. Okay, so coral formation is a nature or a feature seen in polypoid stages, not in medusoid forms. One thing. And the next thing, most of the corals are the members of Anthozoa with the exception of a few. For example, Meliporina or Melipora, okay, or Millepora, you can pronounce it that way too. So this is an example for a hydrozoan coral. Okay, there are few hydrozoan corals like Melipora, whereas most of the other corals, they are anthozoan members. Okay, and there are very beautiful with all different possible shades of colors. Now let's try to understand the structure of coral skeleton, that is the corallite. We are using two terms here. One is corallite, the other one is corallum. Now see, if there is one individual, okay, one hydra-like individual, one sea anemone-like individual secretes an exoskeleton around its body, such exoskeleton, individual exoskeleton, is called as a corallite. Okay, skeleton of one individual. But we know that most of these polypoid stages, they are in the form of colonies. So hundreds and thousands of such individuals, okay, which are lying close to each other, they secrete their skeleton, and it forms a whole mass. Let's imagine some 100 sea anemone like individuals are secreting their skeleton, and this will form a whole mass of coral. Such a mass of coral that is formed by the fusion of these individual skeleton is called as corallum. Okay, so if it is one individual secreting its skeleton, then it is a corallite, and when number of such are present, then this will be together called as corallum. Okay, be clear about it. So two terms here. One is corallite if it is a single individual. If we are talking about a whole colony which is widespread from few meters to few kilometers, it is called as corallum. Okay, yeah. Now let's see the structure of a corallite. So I am talking about one individual. You see there, a sea anemone like individual, okay, secretes exoskeleton. Now it is like, say, we need a house to stay, isn't it? Each room will have walls, okay, then there will be floor and a roof. Similarly, these polypoid members, since they do not move anywhere, they need to protect themselves. How do they protect? By secreting the calcium carbonate wall around their body. Okay, and this wall is secreted by the cells that are present in the ectodermis. Now, if you take one such house of one polyp or one individual, which is like a stony cup, it will have a basal plate. Okay, it will have a basal plate, a plate at the base. Then surrounded by the wall, you see here, surrounded by the wall. So this wall is called as a theca. Okay, it is cup-like, so it is called as a theca, this wall. There is a basal plate and then there is a wall. That wall is called as theca. Okay, and then this theca, the wall, also shows cross walls which will be radiating towards the center. And these are called as septa. The cross walls are called as septa, isn't it? So the cross walls are present, they come from the peripheral outer wall, they move towards the inner wall, inner central portion. Those cross walls are called as septa or sclerosepta. Okay, and at the center there will be a portion, okay, to which all these sclerosepta fuse, that is called as columella. It's called columella. Okay, so they will be fusing here, they'll be fused here. That is called as columella. So somewhat in section, if you are seeing, it is somewhat like this. So if this is a wall, these are all the sclerosepta, okay, and then at the center they are going to fuse with the it is a skeletal mass, and this is called as columella. Okay, that is called as columella. So this is the structure of the corallite. So each corallite will have a basal disc. Okay, there is the first formed one, and around the body of the whole individual there is a wall. Okay, this wall is a protective wall. This wall is called as a theca. Together with the the border wall or the outer wall and the floor, the basal disc, it will look like a cup. Okay, it looks like as though inside the cup you have kept the sea anemone like individual. And this cup is not simple. Most of the times it shows cross walls radiating from outside to inside, and that is called as sclerosepta. And this sclerosepta, it fuses with the central irregular mass, that is called as columella. Okay, yeah. Now here we have one more picture again. See, let me just zoom it. Yeah, so I think it is much clear now. You can very clearly see the basal walls and the septa, cross walls that are present radiating from periphery to the center, and then you can also see the individual animal there, and at the opening of that each correlate you can see the animal coming out, isn't it? So animal is coming out here. See, the tentacles are present, the epidermis, and inside that the animal is present. Okay. So this holds, this is one, this is second one. This is when the first one is when the animal is living. So when this animal is living, and when this is when the animal is gone, it's dead. The cross wall, okay, the outer wall, the theca, then the basal plate, and these are the sclerosepta. So this one individual one is called as corolite, and many such all together it will be called as corallum. That's what I told in my previous slide. Okay, so you can also see the filaments, mesenchymal filaments. Then you can see the gastrovascular cavity of the individual, the tentacles, the mouth, everything. Okay, now the question is how this coral formation takes place. Now in the beginning, the ectoderm, remember the section of hydra? There is ectoderm, there is a gastroderm, isn't it? Ectodermis and the gastrodermis. In between that the mesoglea is present. More often it is the ectoderm that secretes the calcium carbonate. Okay, so beginning it will be only a basal plate at the basal level, just like while constructing a house we go for foundation, isn't it? And on that the house is built. Similarly here first the basal plate will be secreted, okay, which is called as a skeletal rudiment or a prototheca in the beginning. And later on what happens, on this basal plate the radiating folds will secrete the sclerosepta. Okay, and when the sclerosepta is forming, that is the cross walls, at the same time when the sclerosepta is being secreted, at the outer rim of the body there will be secretion of the outer wall. Okay, whole throughout its body it will secrete the outer wall. That together with the basal plate will become a cup or a theca. Okay, and then whenever there is a gap between the sclerosepta and the body wall, it will be filled with the skeletal material, that is nothing but the calcium carbonate, so that whole of the body is covered by or surrounded by calcium carbonate skeleton. Okay, so this is how the coral skeleton or the corallite of each individual is formed. Okay, I'll repeat. First the basal plate will be formed, and then simultaneously the sclerosepta will be secreted, and as a margin, okay, around it these theca will be secreted in such a way that there will be an opening columella through which the polyp or polypoid stage or the sea anemone like animal will be moving out. Okay, only its tentacle will be found outside, and when the animal is living sometimes it will also retract. Only the tentacle portion will be the one which is outside for capturing the prey and eating, whereas rest of the body is well protected inside that corallite. Okay, and for number of years the animal is going to live like this with its corallite, and when it dies, when it is destroyed because of any reason, only the skeleton will be left. And so the only skeleton, because it is formed of calcium carbonate, only the skeleton will be left. So when we say corals, all those corals that are used in for ornament purposes, they are all formed of these calcium carbonate rudiments of the coelenterata. Okay, yes. The next one, the next part of this chapter is it's about the coral reefs. Okay, coral reefs. You might have heard about the coral reefs. At least we are familiar with the one coral that is used for the red coral that is used in ornaments, in chains, in golden chains, in Mangalsutra and all. We use it, isn't it? They come from these group of animals only, about which we might be discussing in our next session probably. So today let's see what are these coral reefs and how they are formed, or what are different types actually, what are types of coral reefs. Now A coral reef, as defined by Whelan, it is a ridge or a mound, or a heap of limestone. So it's a heap of limestone, and how this heap is formed? It is formed by the coral forming animals. Usually, the upper surface of it is towards the surface of the sea. And remember, it is formed only by the sea animal, because anthozoans are marine, so you'll find them only in the sea. So usually it is actually, a coral reef is a heap, okay, a heap, a mound of limestone, just like our chalk mound, okay. And usually only the upper part of this heap will be projected out of the sea. So that means it will be visible. Rest all will be submerged in the water. Okay, and this heap is secreted by the usually the anthozoans. A few hydrozoans might be present in that, or they might be contributing it to it. Okay, so these heaps are called as coral reefs. So how we can define it? The coral reefs are nothing but the ridges or the mounds of limestone, okay, secreted or produced by coral animals or polypoid members of Coelenterata or anthozoans present in the sea. Anything. So you can modify accordingly. Now, these coral reefs are of different types. Okay, these types are based on, you can classify it based on which group of animal is involved in production of coral reef. For example, anthozoa is involved, anthozoan coral reefs, hydrozoan coral reefs. But here we are classifying it based on how they are formed. Okay, so there are three types actually. One is fringing reef. Okay, next one is a barrier reef. The third one is atoll. Three types are there. We'll see one by one. The first one is a fringing reef. So this fringing reef, so fringe, forming a fringe. Okay, that's how the name fringing reef is. So in this case, the coral reef, so those heaps of or those mounds of calcium carbonate or the limestone secreted by the these polypoid stages are present very close to the island. That island might be most of the times it's a volcanic island, or even sometimes a continent. Okay, so these reefs are very close to the such islands, and here they might extend about a quarter mile. Now, here what happens, there is always a part of the reef that is towards the sea. See, this part is towards the sea. Let me use a different color. So, this part is towards the sea. There is another part which is towards the land, isn't it? That part which is towards the sea is called as edge or front. It is called edge or front, and this is the part which will be continuing. Okay, so the living corals are present towards this part, towards the edge or the front. And usually when you see towards the island, there will be a small channel of water which is around 50 meter to 100 meter channel of water. So from the seashore towards the reef, there is a small channel of water, a very shallow water body, and this distance from the land towards the reef, it is only around 50 meter to 100 meter. That is means if you are going for a 100 meter race, you know what will be the length of the 100 meter. Only that much. That is the length, that is the distance between the seashore and the reef that is present. Okay. In between this, water is present. It is a shallow water body. And one more thing you have to remember, the coral reef formation, for the coral reef to be formed, the water temperature must be at least above 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that means you won't find these coral reefs anywhere and everywhere. It should be about up to or about 20 degree Celsius, and usually amount of the light that falls, okay, and the amount of the sediments that are present also will be controlling the amount of reef that is formed. Okay. Now, so this is a fringing reef. So the fringing reef is a type of coral reef that is very close to the land, particularly volcanic islands. Okay, and here they will be present at a distance of 50 to 100 meter from the land. Okay, forming a shallow water body between the reef and the land. And in all type of reefs, there will be a outward, there will be a part of the reef which is towards the sea, not towards the island, towards the sea is called as edge or a front, and this is the growing portion. Okay, this is the growing portion. Fine. The next type of reef is a barrier reef. So when I say barrier reef, I'm sure you are recalling about the Great Barrier Reef of Australia, isn't it? The Great Barrier Reef. Now, when do you call it as a barrier reef? So as the name says, barrier, it is forming a barrier around an island, isn't it? So in this case, this is also a reef, this is also a mound of limestone, but the distance between the land and the reef is more. Okay, it is more. It will be from half mile to around 10 miles or even more than that. If there is such a big distance, then that reef will be called as a barrier reef. That means it is not present very close to the island, it is away from the island. Compare the picture, previous one. See, in this it is very close as a fringe. Okay, in dresses they'll keep the fringe, like that. But here it is, see the gap. There is a big gap between there is a space between, see, there is a gap. Okay, and the depth of the water it's more than in case of fringing reef. So here this distance is anywhere from half mile to, compare, where is 100 meter and where is half mile to 10 miles, up to 10 miles or sometimes even more than that. Okay, and most of the times there will be, so it will be forming, see this is present around the island, there will be usually one opening towards the sea, so that something can come, if people are visiting that, they can come through those spaces, through those areas, openings. Okay, and this water that is present between the reef and the island, okay, is called as lagoon. So this, see this water body, this is called as lagoon. Okay, and here that means they are very characteristic ones. So they are much deeper compared to the fringing reef. So that means the flora and fauna are also very totally different ones. Example, one of the notable example is the barrier reef. So the difference between the fringing reef and the barrier reef is the distance between the landmass and the barrier, the reef. Okay, that is the major difference. Because of this distance, the amount of water present around the island is also varying, and even the depth of the water body. And here that water body is called as lagoon. Okay, yeah. So that is about the barrier reef. Now let's move to the third type, that is the atoll. Okay, it is atoll, and here atoll is nothing but a lagoon island. That means you see in the picture, there is a volcanic island, coral reef is present very close to it, then you call it as a fringing reef. In the second case, here you see the reef is moving away, rather the island is sinking. Okay, it is sinking. So gap between the reef and the island is increasing. And in this case, island is totally submerged. So what is only left? Only the reef is left. No island in the center. That means this is only a water body now. Okay, so such a reef is called as atoll. And this atoll is characterized by no landmass at the center, only the reef filled with the water. And like barrier reef, there might be one or more than one entries towards the lagoon or the water body that is present within the barrier, within the reef. Okay, and here the lagoons might vary from a few kilometers to 90 kilometer across. That is the size of each lagoon. Okay, sometimes there might be only one opening, sometimes there might be multiple channels through which somebody can come. And there are also the nature, the type of flora fauna found within this lagoon might be totally different from the found in the rest of the sea. Okay, and there is also an important thing, some of these kind of lagoons are used for the purpose of for testing missiles and all. Okay, and if I have to take the example of Atoll Reef, there is a Aldabra, okay, and that is present in the Indian Ocean, and it is about 260 miles northeast of Malagasy Republic, okay, and it's somewhere 400 miles from the coast of Africa. That is the place. So this is one classic example for a atoll, okay, Atoll Reef, where there is only the lagoon and there is no landmass inside the within the reef. Okay, so that is the third type of reef, coral reef, that we can see. So there are three types. First one is fringing reef, second one is barrier reef, the third one is atoll. Okay, so this is so we have another example. As you can see there, the atoll, you see how beautiful it is. Okay, how beautiful it is. See this one, this is atoll, only water body, and here the coral. This is the coral reef. You can see here there is also a boat. Okay, so this is one entry, this is the second entry. Some might have only one entry, some might have more than one entries. Okay, see the fringing reef. If you recall, I told it is a shallow water body. Okay, so there might be mangrove plants and all. See, very shallow, depth is very less, and this distance is some 50 to 100 meter only. Whereas in case of barrier reef, it is forming a deep channel, see, deep channel, and this is half mile to 10 mile distance gap between the landmass and the reef. Okay, so these are three different types of reefs that are present. Okay, that's all for today's class. Now let's see how much you can recall from today's session. First one, corallite is or an, okay, animal. Second one is individual, coelenterata, skeleton of a solitary coral, corallite. And what's your answer? Yes, you are right. It is skeleton of a solitary coral. Okay, next question. Prototheca is a nutritive secretion, skeleton rudiment, larvae, exoskeleton. So answer is, it is a skeleton rudiment. Okay, Prototheca is a skeleton rudiment. Remember, at the time of formation of corallite, so the skeleton rudiment is formed, which is called as Prototheca. Okay, third question. Reef building coral require water which is warm and above. We are talking about temperature 10 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, what is the answer? It is B, 20 degrees Celsius. We said the the temperature of the water must be 20 degree or above that. If it is lower than that, then you want to see the coral formation. So it should be slightly warmer. Okay. Yes. Next one. Most notable example of barrier reef. I'm sure you know the answer for this. Florida Keys, West Indies, Great Barrier Reef, none. The answer is yes, correct. Name itself indicates that it's a Great Barrier Reef of Australia. The last question. Following is a precious coral in India. Okay, Corallum robustrum, Fungia, Gorgonia, Pennatula. Answer is Corallium robustrum or rubrum. Summary of the session is, calcareous or horny skeleton of coelentrates are called corals. Skeleton of solitary coral skeleton is known as corallite. Coral reefs are of three kinds depending upon how they are formed. Fringing reefs, barrier reefs and atoll are types of corals. And this is my reference for the session. Thank you.